Righty. Good morning, good morning. Stay, Casper, stay. We're not there yet. Hang on. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. We're waiting to see. YouTube is now live with Coffee with Casper. And Facebook is live with Coffee with Casper. Good morning. Good morning. All right. All righty, good morning. We're glad to see you this morning. From wherever you are, all over the world. It's Tuesday. It's almost time for Coffee with Casper. Aloha from Honolulu. Good, bright and early this morning. Nice to see you. Bet it's a beautiful day there. Summer has broken out, eh? Good morning from North Carolina. All right, nice to see you this morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning from Boise. Hey there, David and Missy and Ann are joining us from Hawaii and North Carolina and Boise. Let me know where you are. We're glad you're here this morning. We're glad everything's working again. We're both live on Facebook and YouTube, so that's a good thing. So what we know is that you're going to let everybody know. We're going to connect. Everybody's connecting. Good morning from Boise, Loretta also. The Knowles gang is here. Beautiful. Good to see everybody this morning. And away we go. We got less than a minute to go. We're going to gong in here and get going with Coffee with Casper. Good morning wherever you are in the world. We're glad to see you. And it could be afternoon. We have our Norway gang and our Sri Lankan gang and our English UK gang. We're glad you're all here. Good morning from North Carolina, Jeff. Good to see you this morning. All righty. Good morning from Texas. Used to be the Pasadena area. Now she's in Texas. Good morning, Judy. We're happy you're here. All righty. There's 8:30 on the clock. Here we go. Casper, where'd you go? Casper. Well, he's here. Here he comes at $1 million. There you go. Now say hi to everybody. There's your feeks. There, say hi. Look there, you're a happy dog. There's a happy boy. There's the coffee. There's the Casper. Here's the coffee. We're glad to see you this morning. All right. Here we go. All righty, big boy. You get down. Come back and say hi a little bit. All right. We're glad to see you this morning. Good morning from Tucson. All right. We're glad you're here. All right. Let's take a deep breath in. I want to let out the sound Let the shoulders relax. Take another breath in. Let it go into your heart center. Knowing that we are connecting now. We're connecting in a high vibration of love and unity and belonging and fulfillment. All good stuff. Relaxing the shoulders and giving yourself 20 minutes just to be here present on Coffee with Casper. We're glad you are here. So it's interesting, I think I have shared with you that here in the United States, and we know we have people watching from all over the world, and we're very grateful for that. And certainly we encourage you to spread the word, share this video with anybody you know. And you could also go on YouTube and become a friend or sign up and follow. That will help. What we have just heard is we've got approximately 70,000 people that are seeing Coffee with Casper each week. Now, what we know is that 70,000 in terms of billions is not that many. However, in terms of the critical mass of consciousness moves according to its own weight and according to its own authority, just like water seeks its own level according to its own weight. Consciousness rises, and we are all vibrating together. Everybody here on Coffee with Casper is a light worker. What they realize is that the unity of all life, that the gift of life within you and in me is the same gift of life. And so we call that universal place the I am consciousness. Now, what we also know is that there's a personal consciousness. So we have our high self and our personal self. The reference that Jesus made to that when he said, I of myself am nothing, it is the Father within me that doeth the work, meaning it is the principle, the father-mother principle within me, the law of consciousness, the law of circles, which is the gift of God. That which comes from me returns to me. That's the law, right? That's the cosmic law, which is equal all across the cosmos, everywhere in the cosmos, in every dimension in the cosmos. Because wherever we have self-consciousness, I am aware and I am aware of myself, then we have the opportunity to be aware of the high self, this part of me that is the eternal me, the I am that I am now, the I am that I will always be, and what will be changing is my awareness. And it's an unfolding awareness, layer after layer, revealing, 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 opening like a lotus flower. That's why you see so often the symbol of the lotus flower as a spiritual thing, as it opens and opens and opens, reveals itself, right? And so we are in the process, you and me, of each of us revealing ourselves to ourselves. But we're starting now knowing that this universal self that I am is the same universal self in all people. What that will reveal when we hit critical mass, whenever that time is in consciousness, where we hit critical mass, where the masses realize that we're all interconnected and all interrelated, that day is coming in the dawning, in the unfolding of humanity. It's happening perhaps more rapidly than we know, because so much readjusting has happened in the big reset from the COVID. Many are rethinking who they are, what their priorities are, where they need to place their life, even as they might be intimidated moving back out into the world. Yesterday I was shopping in two kinds of places. I was shopping in the regular market, and I was shopping in a mall store for clothing. And both places here in California, the mask mandate has been lifted. What they're asking is everybody who has been vaccinated that they can go without a mask. And then they're trusting that everybody who hasn't is working on their own well-being and keeping themselves safe. And everybody needs to find their own way to arrive at that place where we know that I am guided, guarded, directed, and protected, and upheld and led by this I am consciousness that is unfolding me, guiding me into the opening of the lotus flower that I am. Yeah. Hello from Chino Valley, Arizona. Hello from Palm Desert. Good morning from Central Oregon. Nice to see you all this morning. We're glad you're here this morning. So here's what's happening. As I started to say, is part of what I have been doing throughout the pandemic. Here in the United States, we have two coasts. We have the West Coast and the East Coast. The Northeast, of course, is where the nation really was born as we traveled west, migrated west. And then we had, starting in the early 1900s, a big shift in consciousness where sort of what was arriving that was new, what was arriving that was more inclusive, was arriving in the consciousness coming from the West. So what I have been doing, my heritage, my family heritage comes from the Northeast, and I was born here in the City of Angels. Kind of obvious why. Not that we're all angels, but there's a lot of angels here. So I've been aware of this sort of bicoastal thing. When my parents got divorced, my father moved to New York City, and my grandparents were on the East Coast. So I've been aware of sort of the difference in consciousness between the East Coast and the West Coast for most of my life. And part of what I've been doing throughout the pandemic is reading newspapers from both coasts. So understanding that there are many of you watching from other countries, and everybody's welcome. These ideas are universal. They don't belong to a country. They don't belong to a continent. They don't belong to a race, to a color, to a creed. They belong to all people. Universal truths are given from the divine to each and to all, and each and all are left free to discover themselves and to reveal the greater aspect of themselves, which will lead to a life of wholeness, love, joy, and fulfillment. the kind of life that we all deserve to live, which is to be comfortable in our own bodies, in our own skin, in our own time, and to be able to co-create with the divine those experiences and energies that we find most attractive. It is said, for example, that Michelangelo put all his attention on just one aspect of God, and that aspect of God was beauty. It was too much for him to try to embrace all the other wonderful aspects of God. So we know, and it was Meister Eckhart who said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it would be enough. So gratitude is one, beauty is one, peace is one, poise is one, balance, power, harmony, creativity. These are all universal truths that exist eternal through time, eternally existent all the time. And they exist, but individuals may not be participating with them, because we have to make a choice. Once we become self-conscious beings, we have to make a choice of how it is, what it is that we're going to find important, and how it is we want to relate in the world, right? So let me know where you are. We're glad you're here. You're watching Coffee with Casper, now being broadcast all around the world and available, of course, at any time zone at any time. We are always live at 8:30 on Tuesday mornings, and we will be back again next Tuesday to do it again. So here's what I've been noticing here in this country, and I'm sure as I was reading some articles about some countries in Africa, and certainly know about the constant unrest in the Middle East, we are having a world that is fighting unity. It's not accepting the beautiful English garden. There's a wonderful line from the Beatles song, the lovely English garden in the sun. This time of year, England is beautiful. The sun's coming out, the gardens are all blossoming, and the shades are dancing, sunbeams are dancing through the shade, just like you're looking here at live on Coffee with Casper. We're seeing the beauty of early summer and all of the richness that comes in to all of life. And the classic line from the garden, from the Beatles, a lovely English garden in the sun, is what we see is in a lovely English garden is so many different colors, so many different textures, plants that hang, plants that grow, plants that bush, flowers that blossom, so many mosses and greens, and all of these things in the garden all work harmoniously together to reveal the beauty of a garden, right? And no one thing is superior to another. No flower is boistering itself as greater than another flower. They're just being their unique self in the garden. And of course, this is God's an avenue through which the divine is revealing the unity that comes out of multiplicity, the unity that comes out of diversity. And now we are in such a place that we're dividing people by race, we're dividing people by origin, we're dividing people by color, we're dividing people by religion, we're dividing people by political beliefs, and they're getting so entrenched that we're stuck and believing that we need to lash out against the other so that we will be okay. Well, that has never been true. It is not now true. Cosmically, it's not true. The way for you to be okay is to work on the self of yourself. This divine self that is the Atman, the Buddha, the Christ, the Holy One, the I Am consciousness, the high, many different words, the Neshama, the Nafsha, many different words for this I Am consciousness, where my high self and my personal self reside together. And we are learning how not to get stuck in the ego of the personal self, but to allow the personal self to witness and participate and invite the presence and flow of the divine in our lives. Each and every soul in every country, in every nation, in every language has the right to extend the invitation to the divine self, and that right will be answered according to spiritual law, which is universal and equal at all times. So I wanted to bring up something because aware of all of this upsetness and lashing out against different races and different religions and different colors, it is not the way of the one. The one works in the law of equality. The law of water runs downhill. Water seeks its own level according to its own rate. All of the laws of the universe are equal, and they are not respecters of people. They are equally available to each and to all. And this is also true of spiritual law. So I wanted to talk about here in this country, we had in my lifetime some major souls who asked some questions about the nature of equality. One of them, and probably one of the world's most famous civil rights leaders, is Martin Luther King. And in Martin Luther King in 1963 gave a speech. It's called, many of us know the speech, it's the I Have a Dream speech. And of course the line that most of us who have a heart of inclusivity and a heart of honoring each and every soul, and this is where humanity is heading. Everybody, every person from every religion, race, and creed and color, sooner or later will evolve up the spiral to recognize the equality of every soul, therefore the divinity of every soul, therefore the beauty and the glory of each and every soul, no matter what they are doing with that divinity and glory. It is still there. And as we release that what doesn't serve us and claim into our life that which does serve us, we begin to have a larger sphere of awareness. The larger sphere of awareness brings with it a larger sphere of good. Good and more good is mine. There's no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. It crowds itself against me. It flows through me. It multiplies itself around me. We become an avenue through which the allness, the goodness of the Most High, moves in us and as us and through us and around us. And therefore, it looks like miracles. Little miracles are happening all the time in our lives, and they are. Because we are co-creating with the divine. We are attuning ourselves to the energies of the natural flow of good. And in that, and we do it consciously, because the rest of the race is not doing this. They're dividing and separating and believing in defense as opposed to the inclusiveness of love and the power of that inclusiveness as if we use it as an actual life force in our lives. So in this, the famous line from the Martin Luther King speech was, I have a dream that one day my children will be judged by the quality of their character rather than by the color of their skin. Now, what we know is that that's not just his children, that's my children and your children and our children's children. It is ours, each of us who is a conscious light worker. It is ours to become aware of what we are doing, to be aware of the energies that flow through us, to be aware that we are a force in the universe, and to choose to be a force for good in the universe. I choose that my life shall bring forth a beneficial presence, yes? And that's what we're all doing. Let me know where you are. I can see your comments on Facebook. Feel free to put your comments in there so I can see them. And we're glad that you're here this morning. You're watching Coffee with Casper. What we ask you to do, you can look up on YouTube. We are there, more than 50, 60 episodes. I don't know, it's a lot now. And of course on Facebook. You can go to Facebook and find my page. And what we ask you to do, the only thing we're doing with Coffee with Casper is giving ideas that help people rise up in their own lives, to bring more comfort into their own lives, to bring more fulfillment into their own lives, knowing that we are all interrelated and interconnected. And that each of us who does this, who works on being an avenue of peace, being an avenue of joy, being an avenue of love, being a place of happiness, being a place of beauty, being a place of gratitude, as we all work on these things, more and more of these things, good begets good and more good becomes ours. And we become moving in tune with the natural upward-forward spiral of the evolution of humanity and the personal evolution of ourselves. So we have a ways to go, that we are not judging a book by its cover, that we are not looking at souls from the way they appear, but we begin to look at them from the quality of their character and who they are being in the world. And there are so many beautiful souls of so many different varieties. We have the potential of all humanity and all the earth rising up and being the peace and beauty of a lovely garden in the sun on any continent and in any country. There was another king who was also an African-American man in my lifetime. He only lived to be 47 years old, not because of the goodness that he brought into the world, but because of his incapacity to accept the goodness and allow the beauty of his own soul to shine. For certainly 47 is too young to pass away from this planet, particularly when you made a huge contribution to humanity, even if you didn't know you were doing that. And Rodney King, who brought forth another level of awareness, another level of prejudice that needed to be addressed and still needs to be addressed, he asked this question. He ended up winning a lawsuit and getting millions of dollars, and again, his departure was not the fault of anybody but his own choosing, and he was unable to overcome the substance abuse issues in his life. But the question that he asked when he was a world figure, when what had happened to him, the violence against him, had brought forth a movement in understanding, a movement to try to make the world more unified, to move toward Martin Luther King's dream of respecting everybody for the quality of their character. Rodney King asked this question: can't we all just get along? Can't we all just get along? Here in this country, we are 2 weeks away from the 4th of July, which is the celebration of the Declaration of Independence. And again, what we know is when we place a high call, you and I are placing a high call into the world, that good afternoon from Norway. Good afternoon. It's almost evening in Norway. We're glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you. What we know is that wherever a high call comes from, for example, one of the first documents that ever spoke of human rights was the Magna Carta. And I remember going to England and seeing one of the, I got God bumps, seeing one of the original copies of the Magna Carta. And it was just striking that before that time, nobody had proclaimed universal rights belonging to all people. Well, hundreds of years after the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence came out. And this line is line, again, known around the world, not belonging to the United States, but belonging to all people, just like the wisdom of the Magna Carta belongs to all people, not just one nation at the time. And this is what it says in the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, and so we would know that means humans, all humans are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, rights from which they cannot be separated. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That all people, all nations, all colors, all creeds, all ways of being are deserving of equal rights and the right to be honored for who and what they are, by the quality of their character, not by the color of the skin or the origin of their birth or any other separations that we might create, because every soul on this planet has the same I am consciousness, the same high self, this God leading God to itself. In the Hindu, it says the self shall reveal the self to the self, by the self, through the self. And that's how it goes. We can all get along. We can all honor the divinity in each of us. We can all bring forth a greater degree of livingness. So let us follow the good words of these gentlemen named King. Let us not evaluate anybody other than our inner knowing that they are the awakening one, that the beauty, the fullness of the divinity is in each and in all. Let us be the ones who practice. Indeed, we can all get along. No matter what our beliefs are, no matter how different our points of view, we can all get along. And we can begin to allow this inner light that belongs to each and all to shine in ourselves and honor it in others and help it shine in them. And we will reveal in the world a unity consciousness which will change the course of humanity and move us toward that prayer that has existed for thousands of years. May there be peace on earth and goodwill toward all. You are a light worker. Carry this in your heart. Be the place of peace. Be the place of getting along, and be the place of honoring everybody and anybody for the quality of their character, and let go of any other judgments except knowing that the life in them is the same life that is in me, and it's good and very good. We are glad you're here with us on Coffee with Casper. Coffee, come say, Casper, come on, come on, back up, come on over here, come on this side, come on, back up, say goodbye, come on, up, that a boy, and here's Mountain down here, here are the boys. So wherever you are in your journey, what we know is that all is well, and until we meet again, we invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. We'll be back next week on Coffee with Casper. Until then, make it a great week. Bye for now.